Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Heine House Gaming and Tech Podcast. I'm your good friend, Jason Heine, as always, hanging out with you. How are you doing? Welcome to the show. This is episode number 78, recording February 27th at 1:20 p.m. And we're going to have a really fun episode for you today. I'm excited. I'm not going to waste no more time. Let's jump right into it. I'm joined by two very good friends of mine, Mr. BydoEmpire. Hello, Bydo. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
And and I am also joined by the fanciest of them all, Mr. FancyJustice. Well, hello, sir. Welcome.
Hey, glad to be here.
So we're going to just talk about a lot of fun gaming and tech stuff. And this kind of evolved real briefly before we get into the show. Basically, I was talking with Bydo. And Bydo and I have this relationship now where he just invites himself onto my show.
That's right.
I got a giggle out of Steph. I got one giggle. One giggle confirmed. And so, no, we were talking about Daft Punk, and he goes, we got to talk about this because Daft Punk broke up, and then I'm very close with Daft Punk. So is Bydo. We have, a lot of great memories with Daft Punk. And then I was talking with FancyJustice on Discord, and he told me he literally cried when he watched it. And so I'm like, bro, okay, you have to come on the show too. And then I was like, we need to all three just talk about this Daft Punk situation. And then I was like, look, you guys want to just do the whole episode with me because it'd be fun, And they're like, yeah, sure, of course. So we're just going to hang out and talk about gaming and tech, and talk about some Daft Punk stuff, probably to start out here, which would be a lot of fun. So, gentlemen, thank you again for jumping in and hanging out with me. Appreciate that. Let's just 78. The phone number is 503-908-5490. Get all the stuff out of the way at the beginning. If you want to send a voicemail over and talk and let me know what's going on. You don't even have to talk to me. It's brilliant. You don't have to say anything to me. You just send a voicemail over and it goes right to my voicemail. You just send it. It's magical. It's wonderful. The cell phone, use a landline. Just you do you. A landline would be great.
Use a rotary phone.
Yeah, just right? Just do that. I would love that. HeineHouse.com, of course, the website, but a big shout out and a big thank you to all of the supporters right here on Patreon. Patreon.com/Jason Heine. That's where you go if you want to take part and support the show. And I appreciate the support because of that, the show is alive and well and kicking right here. It means a lot. Ground floor, main floor, game lofters. Thank you all so much. Much love to you. And thank you to all the listeners as well, you guys. Appreciate you all. So why don't we just jump into it, guys? Because this is the whole reason why we decided to even do this sort of thing. So if you don't know, and or you're not really a fan of Daft Punk, you may want to skip ahead maybe 15 minutes. But the thing is that Daft Punk plays an important role in my life, very influential on me. And I remember when I first heard about Daft Punk, it was in the late 90s when they released their first album, and that song was on there, Defunk. They had Defunk, music, and then their huge hit, Around the World. I think everyone knows about Around the World. And when that hit, man, I saw it on MTV, and I just fell in love with the sound. I fell in love with this kind of, at the time, like futuristic kind of robot, type sound, this vocoder type stuff. It was kind of like EDM, sort of like French house sounding, and really, really liked it. And so I went out and I bought the CD single. I actually went to Tower Records. It was either Tower Records or it was the Warehouse Music that we had locally there. And I bought the CD single, and it came with Defunk, album version, instrumental, and then we also had, I think there was another song on there. I think it was just music. I think they spelled it MISUQ or something like that. Music, something. And yeah, man, it was just a fantastic album. That's when I first fell in love with Daft Punk. And I think what we can do is we can talk about, our memories or whatnot that we have with this. But the big news is that they broke up, and I didn't know really what I was watching at first. Bydo, let's start with you. You watched this trailer, right? This 8-minute trailer
where they're just walking in the desert, right? Or
yeah.
whatever.
What were you thinking?
I saw, actually, I think I had sent you the text about doing this about Daft Punk, and I saw that video too. It came up in my recommended videos, and I watched it, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" I'm like, it's so typical Daft Punk that when I saw it, I was like, "Of course they do something like this," and it was a good farewell, I guess. It was a weird video. But really, after that, I went back and listened to Discovery again because I was like, I just want to. That is where I fell in love with Daft Punk. I honestly don't remember the first time I ever heard a song. Because did Around the World have a music video to it?
Yes,
back in the day, where it was just a guy walking around the road or something.
That was Defunk.
Was that Defunk?
Yeah, that was Defunk, where he was just in a dog outfit, walking around like New York, randomly.
Oh my God!
People were he was getting shit on, not like literally shit on, but like people were like throwing stuff at him because he was like, it was kind of like depicting like the outcast or something. Like he was different. He was like a dog and like a human, but a dog head, and people were all like laughing at him, and he was just, like, dude. The video was crazy good. You really should watch it again. But Around the World was this overview of like all these people on these blocks, and they were just walking around these blocks to the beat of the song, the entire video.
Yeah. I always remember, I think that might've been the first time I heard about them. And I was just like, it was again, same thing. Like I don't think I was into EDM at the time or not. Like my brother was big into like trance and Tiesto and all that stuff, but I don't know if I had actually heard Daft Punk before or after that. But it was really, I still have a memory of watching, One More Time, MTV. I think it was TRL.
Oh yeah.
And seeing the video, and I think that was like the first time I was like, what in the world is this? Because it was so different from anything else on there. And at first, I think my first thoughts were like, this is some weird stuff. Like, I don't think I was really into it until, and we can get into this later, but I saw the movie Interstellar 5555 that goes to the whole album. And that was when seeing that made me fall in love with Daft Punk and that whole album. And to this day, that's still probably my favorite album, my favorite movie, or one of my favorite movies. And yeah, we can get into it in a little bit, but yeah, that movie that they made along to that album is like my favorite thing ever.
Yeah. And when they put those visuals on it, it just really connected, I think, again, with so many people. And it's the album itself is a masterpiece. And then for them to do that with the visuals in that movie, how do you make something better that's already a masterpiece, and they did it. That's what's crazy, And
like we talk about it all the time about how like an album is like telling a story. And that was, I think, the first time visually I was like, when I listen to the songs now on Discovery, in my head, the movie is playing in my mind and retelling that story. And it is a masterpiece of music, movie making, everything. I absolutely love that album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree completely. What about you, FancyJustice? What is some of the earliest memories you have of Daft Punk?
Yeah, so speaking of the movie, so the first time I ever heard of Daft Punk was I used to download like music videos off of LimeWire.
Oh,
so I could watch them and I would just look for songs and find random videos to watch based on songs that I like. And sometimes they weren't always the right video and there was something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they were a virus, right?
But,
virus. He's talking about porno.
Yeah, so I saw the music video of One More Time that way, actually. And I was kind of like big into the whole anime thing at that time. And I was like, okay, this is cool. Like to see this thing that I like being represented in that way. And like Bydo said, the movie Interstellar 55 or 4, I think it's called Interstellar 45 or something like that. There's 5 5s. I don't know. Anyway, just having to see a whole movie along the album, like tied into something that I was also interested in. Yeah, it seemed like this is definitely for me. And that's sort of the memory I have when I think of Daft Punk. I know I think they made other movies after that, but I haven't seen any of them. They have some other kind of, correct me if I'm wrong because I haven't seen them, but don't they have, I'm not talking about like the Tron, which they also did the soundtrack. That's another thing is their soundtracks for the movie Tron really resonated with me in that way.
It was such a great representation of the theme of Tron, I thought. And I thought they did such justice, I thought.
The robotic, like you said, the robotic sound, it fit perfectly with that aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
But it's mostly the connection to like the anime stuff that I was really interested in. Discovery, like you said, telling a story with the movie. That's probably my favorite EDM album of all time is Discovery, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, huge words, but completely authenticated, I feel. I agree with you. Daft Punk's Discovery isn't just one of my favorite albums of all time, or a favorite EDM album. That is hands down. But it's also one of my favorite albums, musical albums, like in general of all time. Like I put that in easily my top 5, and I couldn't even tell you what my top 5 is because that's too difficult, right? But that one is definitely in there. I know that for a fact. It's just so magical, and it's just the way that it sounds, right? The sound palette, the type of instruments that they used, the type of samples they used. I didn't know this until way later in life that they sampled tons of disco records, tons of disco hits. I didn't know that. You know, I honestly, I thought they had like created a lot of that stuff, but then backing it with live instrumentation, and then the way that it's sequenced and chopped up and mixed, and just the way the album flows in one, it really flows from start to finish, from top to bottom, completely like seamlessly. Now, I will say though, the online streaming version of it is a little different than the actual CD. I noticed that. Yeah,
it's mixed differently, or they changed instrumentals?
No, not mixed differently, but like fade in and fades out are, I think, different on 2 songs. The CD, it's a constant flow all the way through, but they changed the end of One More Time, and I think of Aerodynamic. I think there's 2 that they changed because in the album it just the kick drum's going and it stops on beat 1, and it's different. It's
seamless, right?
Yeah, it's seamless. But on the streaming album, it's not. They actually, I think they do a fade, and then Aerodynamic is also a fade, where normally they have like a bunch of like ambient kind of like glistening glitter sound effect thing that like this like pad swell that goes into, you know, the next song. Right, and like this has this nice like swell, where in the digital version it doesn't. They almost think like people are going to be playing this, but they're not going to be like playing the whole album. So like we need to put a fade, or I don't know what they were thinking. You know, that's probably
it. Yeah. Because that's one thing I agree. Like the whole album, it really is done like just one giant story. And same as you, like it wasn't until years later when I actually got into music that I went back and I was like, oh man, they sampled this, and just actually appreciating the instrumentation and what they were doing at the time. Like there was nothing else, at least for me, even close to what Daft Punk was doing at that time. It was
you're right. Totally right.
It was like 2001, right? When Discovery came out.
Yep.
And focus, like most of their songs, you know, it was instrumentation. And like, if they had like One More Time, it's literally One More Time. That's the only vocal in there, and it's constantly repeating. It's almost like a groove element of the song instead of an actual like vocal. And a lot of their songs are like that. And it's just, I don't know even how to describe it. It's like their music is simple but complex at the same time. And it's just, I've literally probably listened to One More Time 100 times at this point.
Oh yeah.
And that's like probably one song where if it randomly ever comes on, never skip it, always listen to it. And
absolutely,
even to this day, there's always like little tidbits I'll, you know, hear, and I'm like, oh man, it's so amazing. And yeah, listening to the album all over again just a couple of days ago, I was like, yeah, this is really just a masterpiece. Like to this day, I'm still like, God, how did they do that? Like it's so amazing.
Masterpiece is a great way to put it. Yeah.
I was going to say Discovery feels like I think it's like the first time that I listened to an album that was like a concept album. Like it had a theme going throughout and it didn't feel like, disjointed tracks one after another. I'm trying to think of any album earlier than that, but I believe that was the first time I sort of I listened to a whole album start to finish as like an entire thing and not a bunch of tracks.
I just got goosebumps. I wish you could see them. Just thinking about like in 2001, the impact that had of how like just listening to an album from start to finish, dude, we didn't do that. Like,
no,
we didn't really do that a whole lot. Like we did back in the day when we were on cassettes, because cassettes were difficult to get right. And sometimes we're just like, okay, I'm going to listen to this whole MC Hammer album. I'm going to just listen to it all the way through, But like, dude, on CDs, the beauty of the CD also was quality. But two, we could skip around. So like we were doing that.
To this intro,
But no, I never skipped.
We're back now. Like the Spotify streaming music, nobody listens to an album from start to finish anymore. They just either listen to the top tracks on Spotify or just pick whatever. Like, oh, I don't like this song, skip to the next one.
Yeah, make their own playlist, put it in, like call it a day. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's hard for like, I feel like the concept album doesn't really exist anymore in today's streaming climate,
Yeah, no, I definitely think there's weight to that. And you said a really good thing earlier too, Justice. You're talking about the inclusion of anime back then. Dude, back in that day, anime was not on anything. Like
I guarantee people watch that on like MTV and stuff, and they're like, "What even is this?" Because that was me. Yep. I think now thinking back on it, I think that is what first introduced me to anime. And of course, Toonami, I think at the time might have been Cowboy Bebop and like Trigun and stuff, but it was really Daft Punk. I was like, what is this style? Like it wasn't cartoony or anything like that, like how we had in America. I was like, what is this style? Like
it definitely felt very like import games to me. I was like, wait, what? Like I was fascinated. Like this is crazy. I've never seen this before.
So the album came out in 2001, and I believe the movie Interstellar came out in 2003. So does that mean that One More Time, I don't recall the time frame, but was there a music video before the movie came out? Like I'm wondering if they had animated that beforehand and then decided to create something whole around it.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure the movie came out a couple years after.
Yeah, no, it did. And there was a music video. Gosh, what was the music video by? Don't you remember?
Before that, no. I always remember just the music video being what's actually in the movie. Like they just cut it out basically.
I remember seeing like, this looks like there's something else to it. Like that's what I thought when I saw the music video. Like I was like, this looks like it's part of a whole.
That's really interesting. I can't remember what the music video for that song is. I bought the album, like the vinyl single, because I was spinning in clubs and shit, and that went hard as fuck every time. And I have that, and the vinyl has like, it says One More Time and like rainbow with like the all black vinyl with like just the title of it, like Shooting Forward, like the more you know type shit,
Yeah.
But I don't think dude, once I had the album, I like never actively sought to find it on TV or watch the video because I had it on CD. I don't remember ever seeing it. I don't know. I'm tripping. That's weird. I don't remember.
I don't think there may have not been one, at least not that I'm ever aware of. Like One More Time and like Harder, Faster, Better, Stronger. It's always, at least every time I've seen the video too, it's always the one from Interstellar.
Yeah. That's what always comes up.
Yeah. So if there's a other music video, I've never seen it.
I don't think there is because I've never seen it. So yeah, I'm not sure.
It's like one of their biggest hits on there. I mean, there's a lasting impression. They somehow, and Bydo, you said a great one earlier too about how their songs are simple, but yet so complicated and so catchy. There's some sort of element of lasting impression with these songs where they can basically take a 4-bar loop or
infinitely repeat it.
Infinitely repeat it. But somehow they're able to make it so that there's a lasting impression where you do not want to turn off it. Even their first album, I bought
Around the World.
I mean, Around the World. Yeah. Prime example, right? It's basically 4-bar loop with them saying Around the World the whole time. That's it. And for some reason, you cannot turn it off.
Yeah, as soon as you say Around the World, it plays in my head like do 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 do.
That bass line, yeah, dude.
Yeah,
it's that fucking bass line. I get it. It's just so catchy. It's so funky. And even their tracks that weren't very popular, like if you listen to the first album, which is called Homework, it's very almost like underground French house kind of styled. And some of the songs definitely, I would say, they either hit the mark with that like Around the World One More Time, or they kind of outstay their welcome a little bit, but still they're still great to listen to and funky. And it's weird, man. It's just totally weird how they can do that. Because I can't say that about every EDM artist.
No, and like even what was it? It was Random Access Memories, right? Was their last album.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and there are a couple songs on there, and I was listening to some of their that album too, and it's just, you know, as much as I love Daft Punk, it's really all for me about discovery, and then a few couple of offshoot songs of theirs. But like their approach to music in general is what I love about them. Like even if I don't love every single song of theirs, like just their approach to how they produce music is so fascinating to me, because it's really, even today, I find it so unique, like how they're, like you said, like it's a 4-bar loop, but like somehow they find a way to make that interesting for 2-3 minutes, sometimes even way longer than that. And yeah, like to this day, I can still listen to Around the World for just infinite loop, like and never get tired of it.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece, hands down. Discovery is a masterpiece, and I encourage everyone to go listen to it. If we've been talking for like 15 minutes about Daft Punk, and you really need to listen to that stuff and let it hit you in any way that it does, because I think it's really a special album, and one that it's kind of like on those. I honestly hold it up with like albums like Thriller and things like that. Like they're just so special and so magical in the moment that it's going to be hard to recreate, and in fact, never be able to be recreated. So do yourself a favor, listen to Discovery, listen to that top to bottom, and definitely check it out. And I find it weird, just so we can wrap this up. I feel it was weird seeing the video of them like breaking up, and then like one of the robots blowing up, and like them just like walking away into the sunset. Like it's just weird to me. The whole thing is weird. I don't understand. Like people are like, oh, it's for hype. They're trying to build something up. I'm like, one, okay, maybe, but two, it's Daft fucking Punk. You don't need to hype anything up. People are going to be, they just don't need to. They don't need any of that. Like if they dropped an album tomorrow, it will be the number one selling album. And at the end of the day, it's just the way it is. Like they don't need any of that. So, but then why would they even announce this? Why would they even announce a breakup? They've been quiet since Random Access Memory since 2014. Not a remix, not a feature, nothing. They've been quiet. Right. So why even mention it? I just don't know. And so the speculations are going wild. Like maybe one of them is dying or something. One of them is terminally ill. Like we don't know. We just really don't know. They don't say anything. Why waste money on it? That's what Steph said. Why waste money on doing all the production, the video, and like what's the point? I don't know.
I feel like their whole aesthetic kind of lets them do a video like that. You know how they're. I know that like they have shown their face, but they always have the helmets on, right? And they have a sort of persona that they put on. So having like basically if they're saying like, you know, we're not going to make any music from now on, rather than just say nothing and never make an album again and just say, oh, we're retiring, it feels very Daft Punk for them to actually go out that way. If it is like, do you think that it's not a breakup and it's actually, hey, remember us, something new is coming? I'll
be honest with you, I do not know what I feel about that. I really don't, because they're so mysterious. They're so mysterious that,
I mean, it's called epilogue, like, you know,
yeah, and that's
so like, that's where,
I mean, yeah.
But you know, it could be a fake out. People have done that before. I honestly hope it's not, because, you know, like I said, that video kind of hit me in the feels.
Yeah.
Put me on blast at the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't think
it'd be a fake out if it was just, you know.
Yeah, I think that's just them saying, you know, it's farewell. You know, it's like we've had our time, and they like, yeah, their personal. I know they've shown their faces before, and to me, Daft Punk is always, the two robots. Like I honestly don't even know what they look like underneath there. I've never looked it up, and this, I think, they haven't really. I know they've been like producing, like they did, right, The Weeknd Starboy. They produced that as like a couple years ago. Yeah,
there was a few things.
So,
yeah.
So they've been behind the scenes, I think, on stuff, but like their own, like actual Daft Punk releasing something. I think at this point they're like either one or both of them are just, done with that, and they're like, let's just send it off with something. And even, do you guys ever see like, now I'm trying to remember, a few years ago, one of them released a song on their like YouTube channel, and it has like 3 different versions of the song, and it's really weird. I'll try to look it up later, but
and I would love to play all these songs, folks. I really would.
Yeah,
I really would, but unfortunately I can't.
Yeah, you'd be ban-hammered right away.
Fucking ban-hammered. Well, that's actually a good point, because we were just talking about this. One of them produced that song that I just absolutely love. It goes so hard. What's that?
Music feels.
Feels better with you.
Feels better with you.
Yeah.
That one, and it's really weird because there's like on the channel. It's his, I think, individual channel. There's like 3 different music videos. Like it's, and it's just that. And then there might have even been another 4th, like official. I don't know, but it's a really catchy song. I really like it. But
I love it.
It's
I thought it was Daft Punk when I heard it. I go, dude, Daft Punk dropped another fucking song. I'm freaking out. And I look, I'm like, oh, it's like, what's it called? Stardust, or is it Stardust? Star. It's Star something. I feel like an idiot. I don't remember, but
yeah, I listened to it and I was like, this sounds like a Daft Punk song. And then I saw the little symbol on it. It's one of the little robots. And I was like, wait,
one of them. Yeah,
it's just one of them. And I was like, at the time when I heard it, I was excited. I was like, oh, does this mean they're going to do something else? But yeah, nothing ever came of it. And
right.
That to me just makes me think that, yeah, this is the end of Daft Punk. Like, and it really makes me regret I never went to their 2007 Alive when they're doing the concerts. Because God,
you can watch that in VR.
Oh my God!
Somebody recreated the Alive 2007 Alive concert in like the Unity game engine. You can basically watch it in VR.
Do you have to have VR? Can I please just what? Oh my God!
I'm not sure, but you'd probably miss out on sort of the effect. If
I am going to strip down, buck naked, put on the VR, and go to that concert. I have to see that.
Yeah, other than Discovery Alive 2007, that album, like I love the remixes and like just like each track is like I believe like two of their songs combined in there, and they're like kind of remixing. Yeah, that's another one of them that I absolutely love that album as well.
Dude, I think they did Around the World and One More Time in that mix.
Yeah, they did.
Oh my God. I just went ballistic when I heard that. And they fit so perfect. It's like the same key and everything. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
These guys.
Yeah, it's when I first heard that, I was like, oh my God, this is that and Discovery compete to me, because I really love what they did with mixing their old songs and new songs and how they flowed into each other. And I was like, yeah.
Absolute masterpiece.
Actually, before we get off this, what is off of just Discovery, if you have one, what is like your top, if you have a favorite song off that album, or maybe a couple songs? Because I know for me, it's always, of course, One More Time and Digital Love. Like, oh God, I love the music video and the little, the solo in Digital Love. It kind of sounds like an electric guitar, but I'm not sure it even is that.
I can't answer this, dude. I can't answer this.
That's tough, man. For something, I'd probably say maybe Something About Us.
Something About Us.
Yeah. About Us, yes.
Yeah. It's just so
good.
Oh man, the little synth in the background there. Oh, it's perfect.
Dude.
I think those are my top 3. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so good.
Dreaming about it.
It's kind of like the only song on the album that sounds like that too.
It is.
Yes.
It's so yeah.
It's a good interlude for like what's coming afterwards for the sort of ending of the album.
And that's just another. I think that's just another example of the masterpiece of that album. How it like transitions. You know, we go from, you know, the intro, and then God, now I'm just thinking, something's in the air with the little drummer on the beginning of there, and just like that hype moment where he's rescuing them.
Crescendos.
And crescendos as well, where they're like, like it just it flows really well, and like it really is like structured like a movie.
I like how you reference the movie.
Yeah,
where he saves them. But that movie has no dialogue. Man, I was tearing up at the end of that movie. Can you imagine like a movie with no dialogue and it can bring you to tears at the end?
That's
powerful.
Like Jason, you mentioned this, how, you know, music, we love music because it, you know, brings out an emotion in us or something. And watching that movie, like there's no dialogue. It's just the music playing over the movie. And at the time I can guarantee you by the end of it, I was probably bawling like a baby, like just how amazing it is. Man.
Yeah. It hits you a certain way. Absolutely. If you let it in, it's going to do that 100%. Well, we just want to talk about this. Sorry, it's been a half hour, but I don't really give a shit. This is honestly an album that is this magical and has this much impact on not just the people who've listened to it, but like an industry as a whole, the lasting impression, the mysterious but respected feeling that it gives you. Like, it's so powerful that it's worth it to talk about this. And if this really is the final, then we're going to send it off, you know, properly and talk about it. And that's really what all three of us wanted to get together and do kind of before we even talk about anything else in the episode. And I just go back through their whole catalog, listen to the music, let it hit you, let it absorb. But my goodness, are we lucky to have had such great music come out from them.
Yeah, and actually, I think they're really good for people to call in and stuff is, you know, call in, you know, what is your favorite either song or album or that you listen to and like a memory tied to it. Because I always think that's really great to hear from other people, like, you know, their connection to either a song or an album or something.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree completely. That'd be awesome to hear if you have any Daft Punk memories. But even if you don't, if there's any other artist or music that you have a deep connection with that does something similar to this, I think people who don't passively listen to music, people who actively listen to music have experiences like this. So if you are in that boat and do have something, that's a great suggestion, Bydo. Feel free to give a call in and leave a voicemail because, we'd love to hear about it. It's a great way to plug the voicemail to 503-908-5490. And you could also just record yourself on your phone or what have you and email it on over, hineyhouselive@gmail.com. I think that's great. Good times. In fact, I did the same shit, Bydo. Right after I saw that, I went and I put on Discovery and I just turned that fucking thing up and I just sat there and I just vibed out. I just loved it, man.
That is literally the only CD I still like years later, I went out and I bought it again. I was like, this is the only one I ever want to have physically. Out of all them, like I've literally listened to probably at this point thousands and thousands of songs and I love a lot, but that album, I'm like, that's the one I want physically.
Yeah, it's the only one. Yeah, God, and even at the time it was out, CD, I loved it so much. I bought the vinyl. I bought the vinyl single. I bought anything that was related to it musically. It was that important. I didn't even like technically need all that, but I wanted it. I wanted to support them. You know what I mean? It's just so powerful. So powerful. And what a great time, man. I mean, in general, and this is something that can't really be like, not everyone has like everyone has their own attachment to the songs and things. But like for me personally, like 2001 was just such a great time. Also, in general, like the time that it was when it was released, like I remember other albums that were coming out, like Missy Elliott had just dropped an album. It was really awesome. And there's a whole bunch of great R&B and it was a great time for kind of like that futuristic 2000s kind of era of music. You know, there was a lot of like punk was really starting to pick up, and you know, Blink-182. There was a bunch of really cool stuff coming up, and like it was a great time, man. There was a lot of great music around that time too. So not to discredit anyone else who released an album in 2001, but if you did, you fucked up. You fucked up if you did. It was so good.
2001 was Discovery. Everyone else beneath that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm hoping it's going to be like a Jay-Z Black album moment where it's like, yep, this is my last album. And then he continues to release like 6 albums.
We can only be so lucky.
Yeah, really. All right. So, hey, thanks for listening to all that, folks. 30 minutes in. It's a beautiful thing. That's that's the show here. We don't give a damn. We talk about whatever we want. That's what we do. So some other random news before we jump into some, I have a lot of gaming news and a couple of tech news articles. But before we wrap up the music thing, 2 quick updates about some music from me, because, I like to update on some stuff that's happening. Bandcamp, y'all know Bandcamp. They are doing a waiving their revenue share again. They've been doing this more and more often. I'm very thankful for it. Bandcamp is a great platform where independent artists can release their albums in full quality. You can add a bunch of additional things on top of just the music. You can add your artwork, and it's a great way to support musical artists. So I encourage everyone at this point to go onto Bandcamp, and if you want to support your favorite artist, definitely buy their stuff on, when's the date? I wrote the date here. March 5th. March 5th for 24 hours from 12 midnight to 12 midnight. They're going to be doing it 24 hours. So check that out. I'm not saying this because I want you to go to my Bandcamp and buy my whole discography. I'm not saying it because of that, but I am. No, definitely check it out. And if you want to support any of your favorite artists, that is the day to do it, because artists will get 100% of the revenue. So check that out. And then lastly, before we jump into gaming news, finally, where's my oof? I got some oofs. I got some Bob Saget. Stop it. Well,
Get some help.
All this stuff. Background beats. Finally. Oh my gosh. It's coming out. It's out now. Background beats. Cutting edge. Finally. It only took 3 months to release it. But it is actually being syndicated as I say this right now. It's going live everywhere. Finally. But this is my DMCA royalty-free background music project that you can use. You can use these songs in your podcasts, YouTube videos, Twitch streams with absolutely no issues with copyright. You won't have any issues with that. So check them out. It's on all the streaming platforms, my website, Bandcamp, all that good stuff. But I encourage everyone to check it out. Cutting Edge Beats. This is kind of more, the cutting edge stuff is music that didn't necessarily fit in a certain genre, as in like it's specific to hip hop, chillax, whatever. It doesn't really fit too much. Like there's some like kind of more aggressive, more like guitar stuff, like chunky, like cut time stuff. There's some kind of more edgy stuff in there. Just random stuff that didn't really necessarily fit. There's another 35 songs for you can use absolutely free. And I encourage everyone to check it out. So I had to re-release it because I had it. It's a long story. I've already said it. I don't need to say it again. But I had some drama with it. So I pulled it and re-released it. But it's live now, folks. So one more round of applause. All right. Yeah, little Tim Allen for you there. He's excited for it. Tim Allen's always excited for it. Yeah, that's all the news I have for the random stuff. Now, let's put that aside. You guys ready for some gaming news? Should we jump in, talk about some stuff? Did you guys watch the Nintendo Direct at all? Did you guys happen to see it?
I didn't see it. But I did see like just people talking about it and stuff.
Yeah, I watched like part of it, and then I went back for the highlights because I thought there was some cool stuff that was mentioned in there, and I have kind of just bullet points of what was announced, and I'm not going to go into great detail with it, but let's talk about a few things here. So, from what I watched, and the recap here is mostly focused on announcements of like new games coming to the Switch. It says on here for the first half of 2021, so we'll see. Here are some highlights. Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout is going to get ported over to Switch. Famicom Detective Club is coming to North America. I thought of Stephanie. I wonder if she had seen that. Hey, Steph, did you see this Famicom Detective thing? Yeah, she wants it. I knew that. Knew that was coming. What? Oh, that's 2 games? Yeah, see, she knows more than I do about it. She gets her on the show to do this. Legend of Mana, headed for Switch in June. That looks pretty good. Monster Hunter Rise launches March 26th. Monster Hunter is always good. This one really got my attention. Mario Golf Super Rush. What? Are you guys excited for that? Yeah.
You know,
I'm down for that for sure.
Fucking A. I can't wait. All right, so that's day one. You know what? I can only hope we get like another kind of like Wii Sports style. You know what I mean? I just want that again. And they've done sports games in the past. They've always been doing sports, even from the original Famicom and NES days, doing just sports games. Remember they had just baseball, like soccer, football, golf. It was
volleyball,
straight up golf.
That's what it was called. So Nintendo's always been on the cusp of doing sports games. So I love it. But did you guys see FancyJustice? Did you see the announcement of this game at all?
The Mario Golf?
Yeah, Mario Golf.
Yeah, I did.
What did you think?
I mean, I never really was there was a Mario Golf on 64, right? Yeah, was a GameCube.
There was both. Toadstool's Tour, I think it was called.
Yeah, so I haven't played Mario Golf since the Nintendo 64 version, but I'm definitely down because like I just recently got a Switch. I didn't have a Switch for the longest time, so I'm ready for Mario sports titles to just start flowing in, and I can play them all again. Well,
and to be honest, man, if you just got a Switch now, like what a great time. I mean, like you honestly, you missed nothing by waiting. A lot of people will say that, like, oh, I want to get it day one to get all like you missed nothing. Everything is there now. It's fantastic. There's plenty of games to play. Not a problem at all. But Bydo, did you watch the trailer or see that at all?
Yeah, I did see the when they announced it, and I was like, as soon as I saw, I was like, man, I want to go play some Mario Golf now. Like, and the what is it, speed golf mode? That seems like it could be kind of fun in there. You know, my first thought was like, how's the online? Like, is the online going to be Nintendo online? I was like,
oh yeah. Well, you know, last week or 2 weeks ago, I reported that Nintendo was updating their servers and their technology for their online stuff.
Yeah, hopefully we can
do
something. And then correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there also like a story mode they're including in Mario Golf?
Yeah, no, there is. I saw that in the trailer too. Yeah, so at least that should be pretty good. You know, their story modes are always pretty good, but it's all about that online. We got to get online.
Oh, I know. Like we got to get some on that Mario Golf 64.
All I wanted.
How did Parsec work out?
Yeah, right. Yeah, get some Parsec going on that.
Emulate that.
Fuck. Can't wait. Capcom Arcade Stadium was now available. It launched, I think, that day, actually, which is great. If you guys haven't gone and downloaded that yet, please do, because they give you one free game in there. I think it's 1942, or 1943.
Yeah, I think that's the free game in there. And also there's, I think, Ghouls and Ghosts are one of them. For a limited time, you get some other game free as well, if I remember right.
Absolutely go pick that up. It's fantastic. I don't really care for the fact that they grouped, I don't know how many games are in there, like 30 or something, or maybe 40 or something like that. And they've grouped them in bundles. Like you can't a la carte buy. Like I really want a Giga Wing. I was like, come on, come on.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. We played that recently. As soon as I was like, oh man, that's so awesome. Yeah, I saw Giga Wing on there. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's $15. But honestly, the $15 that it is, I know. But you get, like, it's a collection. It was like, 93 to like 98 or something collection. And it has the Giga Wing and Ghost, and it has all the great, like it has Street Fighter. It has all these great games. So like, yeah, I know it's worth it, but it's kind of frustrating. Like I just want one game. I feel like doing it a la carte would be smart. But
I always hate it when it's like you only want the one game, but the only way to get it is you got to buy these 2 other games, and that's how they get you.
Man, that's so backwards. That's like buying into cable packages. Like nobody does that anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I've cut cable, so just back to one game at a time.
Yeah, no shit. That's a great way to look at it. But yeah, no doubt, absolutely I'm gonna pick up that one bundle with Giga Wing in it for sure.
Come on, Jason. How could
Come
you
on,
not?
come on, dude. The fucking music is great. And also, I don't know if it's in the arcade because these are all arcade ports, but the Dreamcast one, dude, the music when you're getting like your score, the high score, it's that little like, dude, the loop is even off. The loop, it goes like dun 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 dun, and then like it cuts and it's like a half beat off. They just said fuck it and left it in. Go listen to it on Dreamcast. It'll blow your mind. It's so good though. It has this like nasty chunky guitar. I love it.
And those games, they come with rewind and pause and save states, don't they, as well?
Oh, yes. You just brought it up. Yes, thank you. I absolutely have to say this before we move on from it. Dude, can every single developer who was going to have rewind in their games put this on fucking PSA, put this out there. Every single developer who makes a game, if you're going to put rewind in your game, which I encourage you to do so because I'm a fucking noob and I like to rewind, you have to do it the way that Capcom has done this game, the Arcade Stadium. You have to do it this way. Instead of going into like a semi menu where you hold two buttons and it goes into a menu and then you pick your state and then select it and start it from that state. Instead of that, Capcom Arcade Stadium does it like this. It's one button. You press and hold it, and it just instantly rewinds. When you let go of the button, it just continues from that point. It's like a fucking cassette tape. It's like a cassette tape. And it's dude, it's perfect. It's instant. You don't realize how much time you waste going in. I know this is like really nitpicky or whatever, but dude, when you go into a menu and then like, you know, on Switch Online, you go into it, brings up little boxes, and then you select the box like 4 or 5 back, and then you select A, and then it goes back in, right? But this is instant. It's like a tape, it's like an analog tape. Yeah. Dude, it only works brilliant.
If your controller has, if the game doesn't use all the buttons on your controller, you can easily do that. But if every button's accounted for, which button is going to be the rewind button?
That's true. That's true. And I guess most games use all the buttons. So yeah, that makes sense.
Well, this is like NES games or like any.
I think this is really great for classic. I mean,
classic games, yeah.
Yeah, classic games. I'm with you. I love the rewind feature and even like save states and stuff.
Love it.
Yeah, it's I'm with you. Like if you want me to buy these games again, like that better be in there.
I will go out and say on limb, like I will rebuy a game, even if I own it physically or on another platform or have it on PC, got it on Steam, got it in a Humble Bundle. I don't give a fuck. I will buy it again, even if they've just added rewind. That's how important I think it is to me. I really would, because it makes it like, dude, I could actually complete these games and enjoy the full experience. I really would.
Like we were just talking about, like Ghouls and Ghosts or Ghosts and Goblins. I would never want to play that again on the old Super Nintendo or whatever, where there's no rewind, because that game is ridiculously hard and frustrating.
Level 3, best I can do. That's it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's it. I've never seen past level 3 until recently. I beat the whole game. I don't give a shit what you say. I use rewind and I loved it. Yeah, Shane, I'll tell you next week how I really feel. Shane. Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking awesome. Love it. What else is here? Capcom Arcade Stadium, Mario-themed animal droppings. New Horizon update launched on that day as well. Which, if you can now put pipes down. Plus, you can lay the pipe. Which is really cool. You put one pipe down and then put another pipe at like the other end of the map, and you can warp now. I think that's really, really awesome. Steph, are you going to put it next to Tom Nook's store, or what are you going to do? She's going to put it next to my house. Oh, yeah, because you want to get over there sometime. Mm-hmm.
Clean your pipes.
You want to put it in your toilet.
She's going to put it near my toilet. That's right. That'd be really weird if I'm there like taking a dump and you just like bloop, 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 pop up. Like, what's up? Okay.
Or you just go in. You go to sit down.
Or she's coming up and she sees my ass. She's like, wait, this is the wrong pipe. Wrong toilet. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Yeah, okay, that's fine.
You can't go back on those until you come out the other end.
Yeah, you can't. You have to actually push me off the toilet to go back down. Steph's in there just probably shaking her head. Star Wars Hunters coming out later this year. That was
underwhelming.
Okay, hold on. No,
That's
you're
a
good.
mobile game, right?
She said it's a battle royale game. That's what
they
it looks
showed
like.
nothing. They didn't.
Where did you see that? Because they showed nothing on the thing. All right, now should I plug in this mic for you? Because you got all the info. I guess she saw it somewhere.
Zynga,
I was pissed at that announcement. Company. I go, okay, great, a Star Wars game. What in the fuck is it? I wanted to know. They didn't show anything. There was nothing there.
I don't have high hopes for that at all.
What you know what I feel it's going to be? It's going to be another like watered down Fortnite styled looking battle royale game. Why is everyone I know the answer to it. Why is everyone doing the whole Fortnite style too? Like the little cartoon sort of animated looking, you know what I mean? It's just stop that.
Stop it. Easier to make those assets, but it's by the same company that made Farmville for Facebook, so I'm not really excited.
Stop it. Stop it.
I don't want that. All right, she's gonna send me the link in Discord. Yeah, send it through. We'll take a look at it. Hades physical release March 19th. Hades is a really popular game. Yeah,
awesome game. Yeah,
yep, definitely gonna pick that up. Ninja Gaiden Master Collection launches on the Switch June 10th. Looks fantastic. Also, it's cool. You know, like we're getting some of these classic games. Bring them back. Bring them back. That's what I'm saying. I've been saying this since the Wii U days. Nintendo, release your games. Release these games. Apex Legends coming out March 9th. That ought to be pretty big for him. I can't imagine that running good on the Switch, though.
No,
oh, my God.
No.
What
it's going to
is
be downgraded.
It's going to be fucking
especially
terrible.
in handheld mode.
Some of these games, man, they're not going to run well. Splatoon 3 launching early next year. So we're a little ways out on that, but Splatoon 3, that's a pretty popular franchise. People like that a lot. So that's really cool to see a third one coming. And then finally, the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD Remaster, which was really the killer app that happened that conference. That was huge. That's huge that they're bringing that game. That was on the Wii. Skyward Sword.
Yeah, with motion control. That one I've never played, and all I've ever heard is just bad things about that game, like how it's so slow and boring, and
there's a lot of padding apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, just give me Wind Waker HD again.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm kind of torn. I put this in notes for later to talk about, but maybe we can talk about it real quick right now. I'm torn with this because I think it's a great game. It was great for Wii too, and the motion control. Say what you want about it. It was definitely kind of hit or miss. It was a learning curve for sure. But okay, thank you. But the thing about it is, I wanted to bring this up later, but I'll just bring it up now. Fuck it. We're doing it live now. Folks, the reason that I'm excited is because they are remastering and bringing back a Nintendo Wii game on Switch. I think people forgot about this for a second. They didn't think about this. Do you know how important that is? This is the first game that is being brought to the Switch that was an exclusive Wii game. With proper motion controls, they've remapped it, but also they have made the ability to use your controllers and Joy-Con with this. They have invested the energy to do both. Why is this important? This opens the door. This could, I should say, this could potentially open the door for more Wii games to come over. I want Wii games to come over to Switch because they can do motion control. The Joy-Con are way more powerful than the Wii remote. They can do it. This is great news.
Not to break your bubble, Jason, but they released the Switch Lite, right? Which that one can't really do motion controls unless it's like you buy them separately, right? Because they're permanently attached on there.
However, they address this in the conference, and you can map your controllers to that game. There's ways to do it. It will natively support the Joy-Con for the game.
Yeah.
I guess
they have to.
I mean,
they have to for all the Switch Lite owners out there. But I feel like Zelda is a special case for them bringing it over. And and don't get me wrong, like I would love to see Wii Sports again or any Wii. Honestly, just pour everything to the Switch from their old back catalog.
Excitebots.
Exactly.
Dude, how easy would that be? All that is a fucking, where's my Wii wheel? That's all it needs. Oh, bless you, my dear. Yeah. Well, Brydo, thank you for extinguishing my flame by stomping me onto the fucking ground. No, I hear you exactly. And I think that's going to be, if it ever comes to that, no, I agree with you completely. If it ever comes to that, we're going to have a situation where the developers, gosh, unless they're first party, which Nintendo may or may not even invest the energy, they're going to have to figure out a way to do both control schemes. And you're right, Zelda is a very specific case for this, which they invest energy because it's Zelda. But would Monster Games invest to figure out, well, that's a bad example because it only uses motion. Well, any other game that uses like the Wii remote, and can use controllers, joysticks, buttons, face buttons, would they invest energy to figure out how to map all that stuff? I'm thinking probably not. It probably wouldn't be worth the energy. But then maybe, I don't know, maybe I see like a little glimmer of hope. I'm like, there's a Wii game coming to Switch. What does this mean? I don't know, man. I'm excited. Like I'm optimistic for it. Nothing's going to happen. Let's just be real. Nothing's going to happen. But
well, if it needs the motion controls, I think that like bringing over a motion control only game to the Switch is kind of pointless. Like a lot of those Wii games are not that good without the motion controls,
right?
Especially if they rely on them. So like just to take it out and release the game by itself. But then there's tons of games that use a controller normally, which they could also. Aren't they making a Xenoblade remake for Switch? Like that was a Wii game, wasn't it?
Xenoblade Chronicles or Xenoblade the first one? I think that they ported it over to the Switch, if I remember right.
Yeah, well, isn't it a remake? They like redid the graphics and all that.
I believe so, but that's just like a straight up RPG, if I remember right.
Yeah,
because I think they even ported it to the DS at one point or 3DS.
That was a mess. The new 3DS. It doesn't work 3DS. On the old 3DS.
I don't know, man. I don't know. We're going to see what happens. We'll see how well this Zelda plays with using the motion controls and also with the just normal joystick. I think it's going to be a great way to kind of jump into it and relive it without motion control. To be honest, I think it may actually play better without motion, but you never know. You never know with how these play out. So.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone can figure out a way, I would assume it'd be Nintendo because they're the ones, weren't they originally like, oh, it has to be motion controls, like you can't do it without. So
right. Hopefully
it works well and, people get to enjoy Skyward Sword again because all I've ever heard of that game is that it's not very good.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that happened with Wind Waker HD too. Like a lot of people didn't like that game when it was on GameCube. Mostly the art style, I think.
The arts, people for some reason hated it when it
re-released. I feel like everyone loves it now. So like it just took a while to grow. So maybe Skyward Sword's the same, like with the new console.
Star Wars Hunters, thank you for sending me this article on Nintendo's official website, their store page here. Star Wars Hunters will connect players in real time to battle in settings inspired by iconic Star Wars locations. Players will join squads of all new and authentic characters, including the bounty hunters, heroes of the Rebellion, and the Imperial Stormtroopers, in an action game that immerses players in a fast-paced and visually stunning Star Wars galaxy.
I don't know. I guess
that's still vague as fuck, though.
I think when I first read that, it was Battle Royale, but maybe it's more like squad-based.
I feel like if it was Battle Royale, like officially, they would say that because that's like the buzzword. We're like PUBG by us. I don't know. It's just all it says really is that it's a fast-paced action game and visually stunning. Oh, those are some words you better be careful.
Why would they use visually stunning if they didn't show any gameplay off when they released it?
They really should show. I mean, they're so far out. It doesn't even have it has nothing about it. Wow, the game file size, it actually says 300 megabytes on their store page.
Uh-oh.
Why is that here? This game, there's no way this is 300 megabytes. That's the size of like
It's like
Flappy
a mobile
Birds.
game size. Yeah.
Yeah. The fuck? Weird. I don't know. We'll see. I'm interested. I'm interested to see what it's about. I don't know. But if it looks like Fortnite, I'm not buying it. How about BlizzCon? This was a big week for conferences. BlizzCon already, it happened also, I think a day later, 2 days later, something like that. A couple highlights there. Diablo 2 Resurrected. Stefan over there is doing some pelvic thrust right now. You should see it. She's excited. Diablo 2 Resurrected announced, including the original game and the expansion, the Lord of Destruction. Overwatch 2 was unveiled. I mean, we knew about Overwatch 2, but they actually showed some gameplay of it, which was kind of cool to see. I didn't actually watch all of it, so I don't have a lot to speak on. I didn't catch the whole conference, but I did see that they showed, actually had a pretty big segment about Overwatch 2. There was really only two. I'm going to hate. Everyone's going to be, now I'm going to piss everyone off. I do this on purpose. They only talked about two things, Diablo and Overwatch. That's the only things they talked about. I really feel like they should rename this from BlizzCon to just DiabloCon. They just need to do a DiabloCon or something and just do nothing but Diablo. Okay, Steph's all for it. She's like, yes, please. Okay, well. Diablo 4 also was shown and discussed in great detail. Oh, I'm mistaken. They did talk about the new WoW expansion. Shadowlands. FancyJustice, are you getting down on that? Are you going to do it? Are you going back into WoW?
Oh, man, I was never into WoW.
Never? Okay.
He
was never into WoW, Steph. He doesn't give a shit about WoW. Steph just signed up for another month.
When the game came out. Sorry,
she just did a month. There. Fuck WoW. Well, the expansions included. Pre-purchase went live on that day too, so that's pretty cool.
I'm all about that Blizzard Arcade Collection.
Yeah, that's the next bullet point. Oh my goodness. Blizzard Arcade Collection. Bundles 3 of the studio's most iconic and classic games. The Lost Vikings, a puzzle platformer that was originally released on the Super Nintendo in 93. Blackthorn, which was also originally released in 1994 on the Super Nintendo, as well as the crowd favorite Rock and Roll Racing, vehicle combat racer, isometric view. And they're on their way to the digital storefronts as of writing that, but they're available now. You should go and check them out. I think this is great because those 3 games, they must have just had a really big impact on a lot of people back when they were released. I remember these games fondly. I remember renting them and then having to own Lost Vikings. One, I don't even really like puzzle games. And that game was like kind of difficult for me because you had to use all 3 different Vikings. They all have 3 different abilities. One's really fast, one can jump, one has a shield to block enemies. Like you have to use them in conjunction with each other to get through levels. But what stood out to me most about Lost Vikings was the music. Of course it would. Dude, the music, unbelievable music. Yeah, Lost Vikings, which in fact, really funny story about this. The music for the Lost Vikings was composed by a guy by the name of Charles Deenan. Great guy. In fact, I looked it up, found out that because there was like tons of like New Jack Swing, kind of like pop, hip hop stuff. Like honestly, if you listen to the Lost Vikings soundtrack, like I did a drum cover of 2. I loved it so much. You should listen to the music, and it has all these influences of like New Jack Swing stuff. I thought, dude, who is producing this music? Found him on Facebook, wrote to him like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, had a great conversation with him actually about it. And he was saying how he was influenced by all of the early, like late 80s and early 90s stuff, like Teddy Riley, Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis. He was listening to like all the great R&B pop stuff. And he wanted to kind of recreate that sound for a game that it wasn't really fitting for, but these Vikings were kind of hip and odd in their own way. And it was like a really cool blend of sounds. And yeah, it was dope. I even sent him my drum cover that I did. He gave me a thumbs up. He thought it was cool. So that's my little exciting moment that I had. But he's awesome. He actually went on to work for EA, and he does all of the sound design and mastering for most of the EA trailers, like all the Need for Speed, all the Battlefield trailers. They do the sound design, a lot of really cool stuff. So he's definitely in the industry now, which is really cool. But that's just sort of a side rant there. But anyway, did you play any of these games back in the day? Blackthorn or Rock and Roll Racing, or I mean, I know you played Rock and Roll Racing, but did you play Lost Vikings?
not back in the day. I didn't play any of these games. And now that you're mentioning the music and Lost Vikings, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to go check that out. But yeah, I saw this and Rock and Roll Racing, because we recently played that, and I was like, I cannot believe we were just talking about this.
So
and
weird.
and they decide, now we know why they
shut down Motor Rock.
Shut down Motor Rock. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's great to finally have a modern, updated version of these 3 classic Blizzard games. And they weren't even Blizzard at the time, right? When they made these, were they Blizzard?
No, they weren't. They were when it was Blackthorn was, which was 94. So in 94 they had changed, but prior to that they were the fuck is it? Silicon and
Silicon wasn't Silicon Knights. That's another.
I don't remember what it was. I thought it was something Silicon and something with an S. S and S. It was something. I don't know.
Whatever they were, it was a different name. But yeah, I'm super excited because I haven't played it yet. But if I want to say they have like a definitive version, right, of Rock and Roll Racing, and then they have the Super Nintendo and Genesis version as well, which that's cool. And yeah, that game is. I definitely want to play that some more.
What is exciting about it for me is that the Rock and Roll Racing, they're making it in widescreen on the definitive edition.
Yes,
dude, that is going to be so rad. I cannot wait to experience that. To get
widescreen and 4, up to 4 people co-op, right?
Sign me up. What about you, Justice? Did you ever play any of these games back in the day when they came out?
Not back in the day. Actually, I've never even heard of Blackthorn before.
Okay.
I've heard of Lost Vikings and Rock and Roll Racing is awesome. I love those isometric vehicle combat games, and the widescreen format is going to be really good for those.
Yeah. Can you play it online? I mean, I hope you can, right?
I don't think it's online. I think it's just local. God. But through the power of Parsec.
The power of Parsec. Yes, amazing. Well, doesn't it have to be emulated for that to work?
No, it can be anything on your computer.
No,
I think
it's just taking your controller inputs. So we can do for it. Yeah,
I'm thinking it for the Switch. You just get it on PC. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't want the Switch online on a game like that. I don't think.
No, definitely not. That's right.
And then before we move on, I just want to say I did catch some of the Overwatch highlights on there, and it seems like they're really, because they delayed it into 2022, I believe. Yeah. And it seems like they're really focusing on a lot of PvE stuff for Overwatch 2.
Oh, that's good.
I'm glad. Yeah, I'm happy for that.
That's great news.
One of the things they mentioned, I believe, is that how their events in Overwatch 1, their PvE events really weren't that exciting. And I totally agree, because I know we played them multiple times, but after the first time I was like, hey, I'm done with this. This isn't what I want from Overwatch. And so they basically, they've redesigned the whole PvE game for Overwatch, and they're introducing new enemies, how they interact with you, and how you destroy them. It's more you shoot a robot or an enemy, and the arm and stuff, you'll see it blow off or something, and they'll still come after you. And it actually really got me really excited for Overwatch 2, because before this I was it's more Overwatch. I'm sure I'll play it when it comes out, but now I'm excited for the PvE stuff.
They're gonna have a straight up single player mode, like a campaign mode. Yeah. That's what I'm excited for.
Okay.
And I really like the characters in Overwatch.
Yes,
that's
same.
Except for Genji, fuck Genji, and Hanzo.
Fuck Genji. Just as that's my character, but okay. He's my main, but okay.
No, I need healing from across the map.
Yeah,
but it seems May's Bay.
Oh God, yeah, May with her little ice. Yeah. Actually, watching that it got me excited for Overwatch 2, because before this, I thought it was just going to be an expansion to what Overwatch was, but it really seems like they're focusing on developing a single player component to it, and fleshing out the story, as well as PvE, because Overwatch 1, their PvE events were really lacking, and honestly, I felt for how much they made off of that, I was like, they could have put more effort into this.
Well,
but
they were okay like the first time around when the event starts, but then they recycle them every year, and it's like this.
And it was the same
content.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's no change at all. It's not enough content to do that. Like Lucio Ball, you know, I couldn't handle that for like 3 years in a row.
Dude, they just need to. Yeah, they need to do PvE like straight up. That's the best part about it, man. I love playing that with a group of us. You know what we did at the end of it? We were so pissed. We just grouped up together, like 4 or 5 of us. We just created a private match and went in and fought bots. We're just like, fuck it. I don't care. I don't give a shit if I get no points for this. This experience is what we want. You know what I mean? To go in and just do PvE.
Yeah, like, I feel like for Overwatch 1, they really leaned on their whole Overwatch esports league stuff and just went in at least the wrong direction that I wanted it to do or for them to go. So I'm super excited and happy that they're focusing on more PvE stuff and single player stuff.
I believe they said that like Overwatch 2, you can also, when you play PvP in Overwatch 2, you also play with the Overwatch 1 players. Like it's not separate enough that you can't play with. Like if you own Overwatch 1, you don't need to buy Overwatch 2 to play the PvP stuff. From what I understand.
Yeah, I think that's right. I don't know if they changed it or not, but yeah, I do remember hearing that. And yeah, I'm excited for it to come out and like to play it again. I haven't played Overwatch in forever.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Have you guys seen the animated shorts for Overwatch?
Oh, dude.
Yes.
We're on the topic. Like talking about movies with no dialogue making you feel stuff, man. The Bastion short is
stop it.
Bastion's my boy.
It's like, damn, man. That's amazing. They should make a movie.
Literally,
I'm surprised. I bet you they're behind the scenes working on something.
I cried like a baby. In all of them.
Dude, it's so good.
So good. Yeah, the Bastion one. Oh yeah, bawled my fucking eyes out.
The little bird. Oh man.
They need. You're right, dude. They need to make a movie. If they ever need a little extra fucking income, a little bit of money to come rolling through, dude, and not even take it to theaters, just fucking release a movie on Netflix or something. They will, dude.
Or even a series, honestly, a series on Netflix about the characters and the whole Overwatch, like either like a prequel when they're, or, you know, about Overwatch and them fighting, like, because that's really what gets people invested, is having attachment to their characters. And I feel like that's what the little shorts did. Like it gave you a little backstory to the character and made you care more about them.
Yeah. There's so much lore for like a PvP game. Like there's all the characters have backstories and interesting quirks about them. They're not just like a skin that you play as when you play the game.
And even like the little dialogue they would do like in the pre-round matches where they talk to each other. I always found that interesting. I was like, I want to learn more about it. Yeah, I was like,
and Blizzard's CG team is top notch. They could have made a movie back when, like, you know, World of Warcraft came out or whatever, like Diablo 2. I remember rewatching the Diablo 2 opening cutscene like 100 times and being so impressed with it.
Even the Diablo 3, the cinematic trailer for that, like game aside, like the CG stuff for them has always been top notch.
Yeah, for sure.
Some of the best in the business, that's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah, well, I'm excited for all that too. I definitely think it's going to be. I think people aren't going to really be expecting a lot. Like the kind of the feel is, you know, on the streets is that it's kind of like a DLC or expansion or whatever. But I think it's going to be much more than that. It's going to surprise a lot of people, and I'm definitely interested in it because if we can play PvE and shit like that, yeah, so down. So I'm excited for that too. Cool to see where it goes, and once they get closer to launch. See where it goes. I'm going to skip ahead a couple of a couple of segments here and talk about this next article here because you guys actually have VR headsets yourselves, and I want to talk about this because Sony announced that their next gen VR headset is going to be coming to the PS5, and there wasn't really. It's kind of to say it was an announcement was kind of loose because they just basically said like, yeah, we're working on it, it's coming. They didn't show anything about it or whatnot. They talked about a few things, but I just want to at least make a mention of it. It's going to include a better field of view, higher resolution, and a single cord. That has me actually more excited about than anything. A single cord.
No breakout box.
Dude, the PS4 VR getting that thing hooked up, it's like fucking, like I'm on the fucking ER bed, you know, and they're like putting probes and shit all over me. It's like, what is this?
But that box was needed for like processing power, I think, because the PS4 was kind of not strong enough for VR.
Absolutely. Yeah, it definitely wasn't up to the snuff to do it. But the PS5, they say it will be. They say that it's not going to launch this year, so they're announcing plans. What I put here, plans for an early release next year at some point, but there's no official date. So, they say better field of view, resolution, and a single cord. I mean, those are all common shit, though. Of course, there's going to be higher resolution. Of course, there's going to have better field of view. Those are things we already know. Like, if you're going to remake a VR headset, like, it has to have that, of course. I mean, we're coming from 60 frames, 720p on the PS4. Like, it was pretty low res, to be honest. And it was still fun, and we enjoyed it. You know, I still enjoy using it and playing some of the games. But, they have an interesting thing here because they also have to keep cost in mind, right? I mean, they can't be releasing $1,000 VR headset. Or can they? I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't think they would do that just for consumers' sake. Like, nobody's like, you know, if you already put $1,000 into your PC, maybe you'd be up for upgrading like a VR headset. But if you just bought a PS5 and a TV or whatever, I don't think you're going to pay $1,000 for something like that.
Yeah, and like, we got to remember, you know, for Sony, their PSVR, I always, like, first of all, I give them props for building, like, I'd still say the best hardware design headset. Like, it was comfortable. It was felt really good. And like, you didn't have to, like, a lot of the other, at least like I had the Oculus Rift 1, like it had a little head strap and the way it adjusted. I felt like Sony nailed it on that front, but it was like the good enough VR headset. And I feel like that's what they're going to really bring for this next one. Is it's going to be good enough, but if you're like all in, want the best experience of VR, you're going to be spending, you know, way more than what this one's probably going to cost.
The like the PS4 one was sort of built off of old tracking hardware too, because it used the wands and the
camera.
Yeah. So like it was sort of like tacked on. But I believe they said for the PS5 one that they must be doing some R&D or something, and they're going to have a new tracking. I guess it'll just be cameras like the Oculus Quest and all that. But
yes. I was just going to say my prediction for this one is going to be, they're probably going to use like inside out camera tracking like the Quest does. And honestly, that's, I'm hoping, because I don't know about you guys, but I really want VR to be like a mainstream thing, because I want more games and more experiences in VR. Because did either of you guys ever play the Astro Bot game in VR for PlayStation?
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, right? That's really well done.
That one, it took like concept we all know, like the 3D platformer stuff, and just like in VR, I think it really nailed it. I think it's honestly up there with, you know, like Mario 64 in the terms of what that did for 3D platforming games when it came out.
Agreed. Yeah.
And it's a shame more people haven't played that game, because it's really awesome.
It's honestly like the tech demo for VR. That was like the tech demo that they had.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like compared to PC VR, like the PS4 VR headset is kind of like a gimmick more than an actual thing that you can sit down and play games on. It's not like, you know, it's older. It's not quite there in the graphics fidelity and tracking and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm hoping that they get that. Like, it looks like somebody smeared Vaseline all over your eyes. Like when you're looking through it's very blurry and, you know, it's cool for what it is, but I would hate for someone's first experience in VR to be with the PS4 VR headset, because it might turn them off from like, oh, this is just like a toy or whatever. It's not actually worth investing in.
Yeah, and that really has always been, and I think will forever be, the issue of VR is you can't really show someone what it's like until you actually put them in a headset. And if it's like, if they get a headset that's not good and gets some motion sickness and stuff, they're probably going to be turned off of VR forever. So I hope this next one with PS5 that it's a good experience, it's good enough, and they get the cost down to where a lot of people buy it, because really at this point, it's about bringing more people into VR so that more development can go in there.
Yeah, keep the cost down and get people in on it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think when I bought my PSVR, I got I believe it was like the $200 bundle, where it didn't have any of the motion controllers. It was just the camera, and it came with Astrobot and I think Moss, which was another great VR game, I think. And yeah, I was like, it's not the best VR headset, but those two games really, I was like, they really, I think, showed off, like you mentioned, it was like a great tech demo for what VR can be. I think
it depends on, like, if you show it to somebody, you have to like kind of debrief them a bit. Like, look, this is kind of like baby VR. That's what I call it. I call this baby VR because it kind of is like the very first, like sort of like an introduction. It's not great. And like, it's fun and it's exciting, but it's not what the real VR experience is, right? Because it's not there. Like, I've introduced the PS4 VR to Brandon. Actually, Brandon came to visit and he played that for the first time. And also my cousin Justin, he came down and I gave it to him to play. And we played Gun Club for like 6 hours. And we're just going back and forth. And it was so fun. But the thing is I was able to like disconnect them from thinking that this is like the next gen shit. Like, they understand. They're like, okay, I know that this is like baby VR, basic shit. It's not amazing, but the experience is still good. And the potential of like when this is done right, this is mind blowing. I was blown away when I played PS4 VR for the first time. It was like 2 years ago, and Chauncey let me borrow his VR, and we've been playing it, dude. But I disconnected the fact that I know this is kind of shitty. I know that, and playing with like a high quality one, a good one, I cannot wait. That experience is going to be so great, and I'm jealous because you guys have great VR headsets. I've never had a great VR headset yet. I hope to buy. I want to get that Reverb G2. To be honest, that's the one I'm looking at. Maybe down the road. But
yeah, you mentioned that,
dude. I think that experience, and Bydo, you said it. I hope people invest and really go into this. I want this to kind of be a norm. What I would really love, like selflessly, I would love to have like 2 VRs connected at the same time. So like I can sit and watch and or play in VR world with you. Like in the same room or like whatever. Like that would be so dope. How cool would that be?
Don't they have in our like arcade setups, right? Where it's like multiple VR headsets and like an actual like room setup as well.
They give you like a motion tracked like little gun thing, and you can walk around in the same virtual space as like 5 other people who are also wearing headsets.
I love it. I love it.
That's like an excessive use case for VR though. Like I remember like I was like I play a lot of VR chat with my VR headset. And there was one time I met these 2 people who they lived in the same house. They both had VR headsets. They both had full body like motion tracking. And so what they would do is like one of them picked up the other person in real life, and in VR, the other person was like in their arms, like it looked like it was like 1-to-1 tracked. And I was like, how are you doing that? And they're like, oh, we're in the same space wearing 2 Vives. And I just like picked up my girlfriend or whatever. I'm like, whoa, that's the future.
That's crazy.
Whoa, that's crazy. Insane.
Yeah. So that's like I think VR headsets need to get a lot more comfortable and smaller before they get a lot of
and lighter
adoption. And you put that on your head for a couple hours, you take it off, and your face is all red.
Oh yeah,
like marks.
Especially if the nose piece part, like if there's pressure on there, and Jason, wearing glasses as well. Like I actually. Part of the reason I wanted to get contacts and why I wear contacts was for VR, because it's so much more comfortable.
Dude, I'm the same. I'm just like that.
I get that.
You can get prescription lenses too. Like you can get inserts for your headset that are prescription lenses. I was just going
to bring that up. That's definitely, So you don't have to wear the glasses. Just get the prescription lenses or contacts. I mean, you're a fucking gamer. That right there, folks, is a goddamn gamer.
Yeah, talking about gamer glasses.
You're a fucking gamer.
Like no joke, after wearing the Oculus, like with my glasses, like the amount of pressure was so high that the little like the nose pieces, that sit on your nose, like literally they both fell off, and I had to go get them replaced. And I was like, man, I remember the first time putting on my contacts and then going into VR, and I was like, it was so much more comfortable, and like my glasses are really old, and it was such a it's just such an amazing experience. And even playing something like Lucky's Tale, that 3D platformer.
Oh yeah,
seeing the little fox guy, and like if you lean up close to him, like he'll like back up and stuff, and just seeing being able to see that whole world and space in 3D, and like even like I believe the level select is like a little pop-up book that's in like 3D, and like you can see the little detail, and it's such a immersive experience. Even though the game itself is just a 3D platformer, it's just cool to be able to like, oh, what's behind that? I can just turn my head or look around and see what's behind that, and it's just it's such an awesome experience. And I hope with popularity, or like with more people experience it, we get more games developed.
Yeah, and what a lot of people might not think about either is like when you have glasses on, you have to have your mask a little further away. When you get rid of the glasses, you can actually move the mask closer to your eyes, which helps your field of view. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Because you don't want to scratch those lenses with your glasses pushing up against it.
There's no going back on that shit.
Yeah, I was always afraid to like even just cleaning like dust off of them. I was like, oh God, I do not want to scratch these lenses, because as soon as you see a scratch and you see it, it's like, oh, that just ruins your
it's always
VR.
There.
Yeah, it's always there.
Well, I think this is totally. We every once in a while we talk about VR. We bring up VR because I feel like even though there's VR options and lots of headsets and lots of things coming out, I feel like right now the technology is still advancing. Yeah. It's still kind of in its not basic form, but it really kind of is still, and we're not fully adopted into this world yet. And it's exciting because we're seeing the evolution of it. And I think it's very exciting personally.
Yeah, it feels like we're still like PS1 and 64, like that first era of VR, like, and we're just kind of now getting into like PS2, Xbox, GameCube era, where, because correct me if I'm wrong, isn't like the rumor also that like Apple's developing a crazy expensive VR headset?
I mean, I've heard that. I also heard they're developing, a fully autonomous electric EV and shit. Like, nothing would really surprise me at that point coming from Apple. But I mean, I can't confirm anything. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like if the rumor turns out to be true and Apple develops some crazy expensive one, even though I doubt a lot of people would buy it, I think it would kind of up the ante for like other companies to start developing. Like, their Apple Watch, when that first came out, I was like, who the hell wants to is buying watches and wearing watches these days? Now they're like, I swear I see them everywhere. It's one, like, yeah.
Yeah, and they've got the fuck you money to invest in something like that and up the ante. Yep, absolutely. They're going to make like, everyone's going to be coming to the table looking at like, well, fuck. Like HP is going to sit down and be like, well, we done fucked up. We're going to have to do something big now. You know what I mean? Because of what they did.
I almost don't want them to make a headset like that, because how Apple is when it comes to like exclusivity and closed, like
the walled garden.
Closed garden.
The walled garden. So like Facebook was already kind of going down that path with their Oculus stuff, where you need a Facebook account to log in. Like, could you imagine like a virtual headset with like an iTunes interface? Like how crap that would be.
Oh my God.
No.
Like I'm worried. Like the future of VR is like open for everyone. Like everyone can access everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I heard about
doing that. Sorry,
when I heard about the whole Facebook eventually requiring everyone to log in through Facebook, I was like, fuck that. Like I actually I sold my Oculus Rift 1, and I was like, I'm just at this point I'm waiting down the line for next generations and other companies to come out with other products, because I'm not all about that wall garden. Like I already hate all these. It's like only on Apple, only on whatever. I'm like, oh my God, just give me. I want an open platform.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I got 2 million passwords. Like, fuck. I mean, how many times? Like how many passwords do I got to remember here? Like I like 69. Question mark. That password has been used 1 million times on my account. I'm trying to just log in, but I don't remember which one I used it for.
But and then just to play devil's advocate, the only good thing to me about Apple doing it would be, like we said, like it would create a lot of interest in it. I believe like that would be the good thing in my part, because whatever Apple develops, it seems like all the other companies basically follow.
Yeah, no, it's true. That's absolutely true. And they've done it time and time again, for better or for worse. Absolutely. I want to talk a couple more articles here before we jump on the. I think we have a voicemail too. We'll see if we can get around to all this stuff. Big episode, a lot of fun stuff we're talking about, guys. Rare's unreleased. I don't know if you guys heard about this. Their unreleased game, Dinosaur Planet. You may have heard about Dinosaur Planet back in the day, but it leaked online. I usually, not by choice, it's just kind of like the leaks of these games and things are happening all of a sudden right now. But Dinosaur Planet was a game developed by Rare. It originally was going to be on the Nintendo 64. And ultimately, this game was pretty much complete, almost complete in development. But then Miyamoto wanted to kind of push it more towards the GameCube. And in fact, that's what they did. So they shelved the game and took that concept and moved it over to the GameCube, which this game became Star Fox Adventures on GameCube. So what happened was this game leaked and went online and is now available. You can find it online. And there's a build from December 1st, 2000 that leaked. And so screenshots of the game feature Fox McCloud. This was noted by Eurogamer on there. And also, I mean, you can really see the similarities between Star Fox Adventure and this Dinosaur Planet. And it's an actual playable game from what people are saying. So I think this is really fascinating, and I want to talk about it because recently we had another, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, I just talked about the GoldenEye 007 remaster that was supposed to be for Xbox Live Arcade was also leaked. So like all these games from Rare are starting to show up, you know, and I honestly, I didn't look too far into it. I don't know if it's because of all this huge, what was it called? The Giga leak or whatever it was, or this huge bundle of Nintendo software that went out. I don't know if it's connected or whatnot, but some of the stuff is showing up, and I just think it's really fascinating to see. I really think that's cool to see, like these games that were shelved and then became something else. But this was like fully playable. It was almost done. That's insane. So, I mean, you guys probably, I don't know if you've seen any of this stuff, but did you see any of the screenshots or any of the footage of Dinosaur Planet?
I watched a bit of a playthrough. Someone was streaming through it. I think they were around the end, and it looked like the content sort of dries out and there's not much to do.
Yeah, I heard something about the ending isn't done or something like that. Like something like that.
Yeah,
so that might make sense.
You kind of have to like brute force your way and clip through some stuff to get to a later part of the game. But it always makes me think like the same thing that happened with Duke Nukem Forever. Like how much development time was lost for them to just almost finish the game and then port it over to a new engine.
Yeah, and basically just remake the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, they couldn't use the same assets because they're like N64 textures and stuff. So like they must have basically restarted. Like I don't know how many, like, you know.
I just think it's pretty cool to see. I don't know, very, very interesting stuff. I've just seen some of the screenshots, a little bit of the gameplay, but yeah, I mean, Star Fox Adventure, and then of course that game came out, and that was an interesting time for GameCube because that game was like hit or miss. People wanting a true like real Star Fox experience didn't get it there. You know what I mean? It's more of like almost like kind of like Zelda, you know, almost adventure game in a way. It's a great game. It's just not really a Star Fox game. You know what I mean? It's Dinosaur Planet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Hearing this and seeing it, I mean, first of all, I think it's really cool from like an archival perspective, just that we have this now. But you really see that Dinosaur Planet was literally like a Rare's take on what like Ocarina of Time and Zelda was. And I think they're just, because it was supposed to come out so late, I think Nintendo did, like, you know, like you said, Miyamoto saw it, like, no, we can just make this for the GameCube. And you just seeing it and playing it, it kind of seems like obvious, like, yeah, this was initially meant to be a completely different game than what it turned out to be because I've never played Star Fox Adventures, but yeah, just looking at gameplay now, I'm like, yeah, I can see how this was initially some completely different game than like traditional what Star Fox is.
And then they released Star Fox Assault on GameCube, which
I forgot about that game.
Which is, that is really an experience. Like, that's a real Star Fox experience, really. And was it Star Fox Assault, or what was it? Yeah, that was, right?
Can't you get out of your ship in that one, right? And run around. Or am I thinking of something else? Or are you thinking of something else?
I'm thinking of something else. No, that's No Man's Sky. No, I don't know.
No Man's Sky used to be a Star Fox game.
Used to be, yeah. Hold on, let me look. No, because I think Star Fox Assault was like a traditional assault. Let's see. It was in a traditional Star Fox game, I thought. Yeah.
You can. There are some.
There's on foot segments in that game, from what I remember.
Okay.
That was a very forgettable game to me for some reason.
Yeah, and that might be why we haven't seen any new Star Fox other than fucking Ubisoft's tie-in with fuck. Can they just get their shit together?
You can buy that game at like the dollar store, full in box with the toy and everything.
Dude, we waited till it was like $5 and we found it and bought it.
That's sad, man. People worked on that game.
Dude, we also went to the Dollar Tree. Steph was buying a bunch of shit. She loves Dollar Tree. I was getting some fruit snacks or whatever. And we walked down the toy aisle. They literally had the fucking attachments and little characters there at the Dollar Tree from Target. Like Target just shoveled off their inventory to them. They still had little Target stickers on the back. I'm like, oh, what? They're all $1. We bought 10 of them or something. The ones we didn't have. Just to have, but dude, we haven't used them. We haven't played
No.
What sucks is that game is actually pretty fun. It just doesn't run very well on Switch, but it's fun. It is.
Other than Star Fox, it looks really generic.
What was the name of that game? I completely forgot about it. Yeah, the Ubisoft one.
Starlink? Is it?
Starlink, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Starlink.
Mm-hmm. I was tripping. I was like, oh my God, we're getting a Star Fox game kind of like tie-in. Dude, no. There's nothing. It was super, like you said, it was super generic, and it just used like the R-Wing and Star Fox character. Like, other than that, it's yeah.
That game's on other consoles, and it doesn't have the Star Fox stuff in it. So it's really just like an exclusive Nintendo thing.
It's like a skin, basically. That's all it is. Yeah. It's just the skin thing. Yeah.
They don't make those anymore. Those toy Portal games, like what was that game called? Where you put the monsters on the platform and they
fucking Skylanders, dude.
Skylanders,
that was a huge thing, man. Disney made a game of that, like the Disney universe or whatever. Like they don't.
Yeah, that was big for a while.
Everybody's done with that now.
Yeah, boy, that was huge. I remember one time going into Toys R Us when that was like at its height. There was an entire aisle. I felt like, or maybe it was half an aisle, but like half of a fucking aisle full of Skylanders.
Same with I remember Amiibos and all when that was big too as well. Just
Amiibos.
I am so glad. God, I would have spent so much money if I was into that stuff.
For paint variants and all kinds of the collector market went nuts over those.
Oh, the Amiibos, yeah, it was crazy. Amiibo. Couple more articles here. Hyperkin is releasing a console to allow you to play a game. Oh, Game Boy. Play Game Boy games on your TV. Retro console allow you to play Game Boy games on your TV. Hyperkin's Retron Squared is a console that will allow you to play Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance cartridges on your TV. It's an HDMI console. Includes one wired USB Scout controller with a shape similar to the SNES controller. And instead of composite video hookups, it's got a, HDMI. Yeah, we know. It will allow you to switch from 4:3 ratio or 16:9, depending on your preference. I don't ever like stretching 4:3 content to 16:9, but
it always looks weird to me. Yeah.
Hey, to each their own. Okay. Console will allow you to natively play Game Boy and Game Boy Color cartridges, while Game Boy Advance games are listed as a beta feature. What? So that's not fully compatible yet, but it does note that the Game Boy Advance games are compatible. Back of the console features a micro SD card slot, allowing you to store firmware for the system, and also probably to update it, I would assume. They're going to release it March 25th for $75. If you want to buy one already, you can pre-order it right now. But here's my thing. That's a pretty steep price for... I have a fucking Retron 5 and does all of it already from like 10 years ago. So wait, what?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people like these like hardware re-releases that allow you to play actual cartridges and stuff. But me, yeah, this seems like I don't know. I guess it's not too expensive, but I'm just not. I don't buy any of these. I'm not interested in any of these Hyperkins or Retrons or anything like that. I'm like, I'd rather just, this is me personally. I'd rather just get an emulator on my PC and play them that way. And I'm just about the games. Like, I just want to play the games. I don't care about the hardware at this point.
Yeah, and I feel that, I don't know, man. Honestly, the best way to I don't know. I feel the best way to play these, honestly, is through the Game Boy player on the GameCube.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Dude, I loved ejecting those on those things because that thing, man, had some force behind it. The Game Boy player. You remember that thing? It would just freaking shoot them out.
Yeah, it would. Absolutely. You hit the little button on the side, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like spring loaded, wasn't it? Or something like.
I love it. But I mean, and you get to play with the GameCube controller. It's super comfy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. And I feel like there might be a market for that. And I mean, they obviously think there is because they're making it, but I still feel that like $75 is a little steep, honestly.
And the controller's going to be garbage as well. They're always garbage on those things.
They are. No, 100%.
Sure that I've seen. It doesn't look very... It's like clear plastic, that like...
Mm-hmm.
It's just weird. Like, why Game Boy? I mean, like, usually, you want to play your old retro consoles on your TV because they were originally played on TV, but a Game Boy is just like, do you really need HDMI TV to play a Game Boy game?
Yeah, and like what
you can't play any other consoles on it. It's just weird. Like, why not make a handheld console unless they already have? I haven't followed too much.
And not only that, the Game Boy Advance feature is in beta, so it's not even fully compatible. I don't see it. I don't see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to bring that up because I just think it's interesting that they would come out with something like this when I've already have previous offerings in the Retron series that do all this already. Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, all that stuff. And it's like, okay, yeah, I guess the argument is like the Retron 5 is like $200. Okay, well, I get that. So maybe this is just for, I don't know. Weird stuff. To be honest with you, I'm not necessarily interested too much in this stuff. I'm interested in the, I would love to get the flash cards. What are they called? Always forget the name.
The
Q cards?
EverDrive. Thank you. Yeah,
EverDrive.
The EverDrives. I think even that, just pull out the 64, pop that in, hook it up to the TV and just, like play it on with the real controller. And, if you're going to do it that way, if you really want to play with the hardware, like, yeah, I think that's a great alternative. I think that's pretty great. So I don't know. Weird stuff. There's a huge scene now with modders, dude, doing like HDMI mods. I mean, shit, I even bought the, I bought it last year. I'm looking at it right now over there on my table. I haven't even installed it. The Dreamcast SD card fucking attachment thing that replaces the disk drive. I forget what it's called even. I bought one.
Yeah, I remember you telling me when you bought it about it. Yeah,
it's called, I think. And yeah, I can't wait to do that and play some Dreamcast, but it's like, I don't know what I'm talking about. It's just, there's a lot of shit going on. That seems kind of expensive for what it is, to be honest. Before we wrap it up and get into voicemail here, I think we have one from Cameron, of course, and we all can answer it. I don't know what he said in there, but we'll get into it. Finally, and I put this one last minute. I don't think you guys knew I was going to talk about this, but Super Nintendo and NES Switch Online service, they finally released 4 new games for the service. Any guesses of what they are? You'll never guess.
Oh.
Because they always release games no one's fucking heard of. No, it's not Mario RPG, everyone. Whoop, 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 whoop. I repeat, it's not Mario RPG. Whoop, whoop.
actually heard what they were, and I've already forgot them because they're like, "What are these games?" I have no idea at this point.
Well, let me just tell you that last night I sat down and played them, all of them. Well, except the NES one. When I got done, I just turned this shit off and went to bed. I couldn't take it anymore. I was so upset. But Prehistoric Man, developed by Titus and published by Interplay. I'm not going to lie. Back in the day, whenever I saw Interplay on a box, I rented it because I knew usually it's high quality. And this game came out in 95. All right, for Super Nintendo. It's not a terrible game. It's like a side-scrolling platformer, kind of like Caveman.
Is it like Joe and Matt games?
Sort of, yeah. Yeah, but way faster. Like the run is super fast and the jumping, you jump super high. But they have this weird like dead zone around the character, right? So when you jump, the screen won't move until you go outside of this like dead zone. That's around him.
I think I know what you're talking. Yeah, I hated that effect.
Yeah, so what happens is you completely disconnect from the ground and like where you're supposed to jump. Like you could be on a platform up here and there's like a pit here, but your character's up here and you haven't gone outside the dead zone. So the camera doesn't show the bottom and you can't see the pit. So you blind jump and you just go right into it. Like it wasn't thought out right, I don't think. Like it's weird, but the animation is really cool. The actual game looks really great. And the controls, they're not bad. They're a little heavy, kind of sluggish a little bit, but this could be a really cool game, but it's completely destroyed by this terrible camera. And if you guys ever play it, it's free if you have this, online subscription. So go check it out. You'll see what I mean. And you can even test this, like jump, like go onto a platform and like jump a little bit, jump a little higher. And then you'll see right when you hit the dead zone, like you go out of it, the camera moves. It's a weird way you completely disconnect in the game, but I feel like if the camera was right, it would be a pretty cool contender. Another game, Doomsday Warrior. What? Developed and published by Telenet Japan, 1992. This is a fighting game. And it's just terrible. I hate to, I'm not wanting to sit here and like bash these games and talk shit. I'm really not. But it's just like Doomsday Warrior. What? Like it's just a really bad game. It's a fighting game. The characters are really weird. The menu system is just convoluted and clunky. And then you get in and fight. And honestly, dude, this is a fighting game with an actual jump button. You have to press B to jump. It's weird. And then you have a punch and kick. That's it. Like there's no other, it doesn't even make full use of the controller. It's fucking crazy. You've got 6 buttons to use and you only use like 2 of them. It's really weird. Really, really weird. Yeah, I got nothing good to say about it. Finally, Psycho Dream, developed also by the same publisher and developer there, Telenet Japan. They must have had some sort of relationship with this developer or publisher to like push a few games out. You know what I mean? They must have, because these are the same 2 games.
Scrape the bottom of the barrel there for those licenses.
And it makes no sense, right? This makes no sense to me. Anyway, Psycho Dream, this is actually probably the best one out of the bunch. It's kind of, I don't know, almost sort of anime style, like side-scrolling, but shooter in a way. It's a very interesting game.
Is it kind of like R-type side-scroller, or was it horizontal instead of vertical or whatever?
Yeah, but it is. It's like side-scroller, R-type, yeah, but you're a person. You're not like a ship or anything like that, but you also shoot. Okay. So you start off with like a weapon, like she looks just like, your favorite anime massive titty anime chick, with like a whip. She got a whip and she's dressed up like, I'm like, what is this game? Steph was like, wow, this is interesting. Like she's getting ready for the dungeon here. And then you like get a few power-ups and then you actually like shoot like these little like orbs and things. It's really weird. Like there's a power-up system for your weapons. And I don't know, man, you should play it. You should play it and just tell me what you think, because it's really weird. But
I've seen it. It looks like you can tell it's a budget game. Mm-hmm. If you don't go in with high hopes of like being the next greatest platformer, it does look okay, like serviceable.
Yeah, it's playable. It
would be like a rental if Blockbuster was still a thing.
Yeah. like Blockbuster right here. Make it Blockbuster night. Yeah.
There you go. Make it a Blockbuster night. Cool.
Yeah. But it's just a weird game that I just don't understand the thinking. And then finally on NES, they released one NES game, and they released Fire and Ice, which is done by Tecmo, released in 1992, late release for NES. But,
that's really
it's a puzzle game, and I've never played it. I remember seeing it back in the day. I never played it, but it looks like a puzzle game where you have to kind of like use fire to melt ice, to kind of move blocks around to get to an exit type thing. People will probably be yelling at me if they've played it, and they're like, that's not it at all. But it's a typical puzzle game, and it looks okay. But again, we're talking about, this is my number one thing, and I feel like a broken record by saying this. I say this every fucking time when this comes up. Here we go again. This is why Nintendo hates me. Here's the thing. You have the Switch. You have this magical, amazing platform that is the most successful thing you've done in years. The last successful thing you really did was the Wii. All right, in 2006. Bless you, my dear. And you have the Switch. You actually struck gold. Like, you dug down, you struck gold and oil, and both are coming and exploding out, and it's just raining down money for you right now, right? This is Nintendo right now. They have this platform, this amazing platform. And why on earth are you giving us Prehistoric Man, Doomsday Warrior, Psycho Dream, and Fire and Ice? And not only that, why are you waiting 4 or 5 months to release these?
I know that's the thing that frustrates me so much, because initially they said every month, right? Or that the initial
switch,
plan?
Man, bait and fucking switch. Yes, no pun intended.
It's such, and I just do not. Nintendo as a company it baffles me, and they continue to baffle me. I'm like, they have such a great back catalog, one of the best, and like he just had 5 months, and these are the 4 games he released. It makes me think like whoever's in charge of this is just like, well, what 5 games can we get for free that they're not going to charge us to release on the Switch? And like, well, release those. Oh, yeah. Like, where's our Mario RPG, all the SNES, Final Fantasy 4, 5, 6, or, The Legend of Mana, Earthbound, all the great games. And like, even like something like the Mega Man, even though I guess they wouldn't want to release the Mega Man games because they have their collection on there as well. But like, it's just, it's so baffling. And it was one of the things, because like that service where like, it's great because, you can play co-op with a friend online. You can do save stays, which is how, we played Wild Gun and actually beat it, which, was awesome. That's a great game.
Stuff. Yeah.
But then they come out with these games that no one really cares about, or even really should care about. And,
or even
it's cool.
Never heard of.
Yeah. And it's cool that they release them, but they should be like, here's a list of 10 games coming out this month, and here are 5 that, you may have never even heard about, but, check them out anyways. But no, it's like 5 months, these 4 games. Like, come on, Nintendo.
I got any reason why. Like, I cannot think of any reason why they don't do that. Like, sure, it costs money, but it's going to make money too. It's going to print money for them, basically.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, man. They did it on Wii. They released all these great games in their eShop, right? A virtual console. And what did we do? I fucking opened up my wallet, and I put extra Wii shop points in there, and I bought these games. Yes, I own them on the Super Nintendo. Yes, I own them on NES already. Like, I own the physical copies, but guess what? I bought them again and again and again. Dude, people will buy them again and again. They want them. People are all about convenience. They are.
Yeah.
And they want them on that. And they are fools for not putting them on this Switch. Dude, they are going to be announcing whatever the next console or handheld or whatever. They're going to be announcing that, and it's going to be over. The Switch is going to be over. Like, capitalize on this while you have the market right now. You have the best handheld and the best console, loosely, for Nintendo platform right now. You have it. It doesn't make sense to me. I would be fucking releasing every game a la carte. Buy it. You want Mario RPG? Here it is. You want Final Fantasy 3? Boom, here it is. You want all these shooters, all these great games, all these imports? Dude, release it. Again, it's just weird to me. I don't know why we get these 4 shitty ass games at the height of the Switch. This is the height of it right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's so crazy because it's like the perfect console handheld hybrid for these games where you can play on the go. You can create a save state. So, like something like Final Fantasy 6 or 3, you can, hey, I got 30 minutes. I loved Final Fantasy 6 back in the day. Let me play for 30 minutes and then just create a save state or something like that. And it's such a missed opportunity. And Nintendo, with the thing that always scares me with Nintendo is who knows when the next Switch or Switch Pro or whatever they come out with next, are we still going to have access to these games? I have no faith in Nintendo that we are. And that's, to me, what always keeps me from I don't want to go crazy. Even if they did release them, I wouldn't want to buy them. But if they do it like the subscription service where it's like, hey, pay us a year or monthly subscription fee and you can just play these games through our online service, then I'd be like, I'm totally down for that. And it baffled me is that whoever's in charge over there just doesn't seem to care about this part of the Switch service or whatever. But yeah, it's such a missed opportunity for them.
Sure is. Yeah, I love the Switch, man. I love it. I love for the portability. I bought a separate dock, a second dock, and we put one in the bedroom, one in the game room. And every night we just go, like when I get home or whatever, we just fucking pop a Switch in there. I got it up on the little projector. We just lay in bed. It's easy. Just drop it in there. Boom. Pro controller, connect, just play. It's great. It's honestly, it's such a great casual platform. It's just nuts, man. I just love plugging it in. And then they have the controllers, the NES controllers and the Super Nintendo official, like wireless controllers that are brilliant for these old games. Oh my God. Dude, give us the games. I just don't get it. It's crazy. Okay, I know. I do this every time I bring this up because it frustrates me so much. I just want to see these games before the Switch is over. It's going to end.
Yeah.
The life is going to come to an end. Dude, we're year 4 now.
Like eventually they're going to have to follow it up with something. And I want to hope that, and I don't want to hope, I want them to continue, like have a foundation where like something like Xbox, what they're doing with their backwards compatibility and like all the way back to the OG Xbox. That's what I want for Nintendo. Like for them to finally have a solid platform to where like, all right, everything from now on is basically like backwards compatible, kind of like an iPhone where like it's an iPhone 6, but anything that can run on an iPhone 6 or up, you can still play it, today. Like because they have such a great legacy and there's no one single place to like experience it all. And I think that's such a missed opportunity for them. Yeah,
dude, their legacy is actually larger than anyone's in the gaming industry.
Yeah.
Of the games, the platforms, the consoles, like, dude, if they did like an Xbox Live type thing and made it actually legit, like that,
or even like something like they have, I guess they would never really do anything like a Game Pass situation, but like their online subscription service, like it's such a missed opportunity to make people fall in love with all their old games and bring people into the platform. And like the times that I would actually spend money on their eShop and stuff is usually when I'm playing like old classic games on Nintendo. I'm like, oh, what else do they have here? I wonder if it's on the eShop or something like that. And usually the answer is no, or it's like it's a crappy version or something. But it's like they have such a great success with the Switch, and from a business standpoint, like I do not understand what their thinking is. Like I would be like going to every single developer and publisher and be like, let us port and put these on Switch Online, like all your old games.
They're like, well, we did that with the Wii and it didn't turn out very well.
Yeah.
But they need to. No, I agree completely.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, we'll see what happens in the future. I mean, I'm expecting an announcement for whatever the Switch 2 is going to be. And honestly, any day, like we're getting to that point. I feel like they need to ride this out longer, of course, because it's so successful. And they may push it out. They may push out another couple of years before we get an announcement because of the success of it. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, this has been fucking awesome. We're just crossing the 2-hour mark. Fucking awesome. How about, I don't even give a shit. We're going overboard. Let's do a voicemail. It looks like it's from Cameron. You guys want to hang out? Want to answer this with me? I don't know what he said. Let's take a look. I never know when I go into it. I just see that it's from him. Let's give this a shot here. Play message. Let's go. Fucking Switch. It'd be funny if he's like, I wonder what this Switch online service is going to do. My iPad takes a little while to load up here. Here we go. Okay. Yeah. Great. Oh,
great question.
Wait, am I an audio guy? Should I unmute it? Okay, let's do that. That would be nice. Play. Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Hey, what's up, Jason the Maniac here. It is Saturday. Sorry, as we talked about before, I've had to work this Saturday and the next few Saturdays, so my days are a little screwed up. But hope you are doing well. So this is a question that, of course, is not of course, but this particular question is not video game related. But I was just curious. I know you like the fast food every now and again. I certainly do myself. But you know what? What is your favorite fast food burger and your favorite fast food chicken sandwich? I think those are some pretty important questions.
Big questions.
I would probably say, burger wise, man, I don't know if I even have one, to be honest with you, because just about every fast food place can make a good burger. It really just depends on, how it is that particular, if it's fresh or what's going on. But, even like McDonald's burger, I think you said your dad called them teaser burgers.
Teaser burgers.
But I mean, that very ketchup-y kind of taste.
Yeah.
The bun, those can be good, but I might even say favorite fast food burger. This might not even be fast food, but I guess Five Guys is pretty good. Hard to beat, really.
It's a good burger. Yeah.
But even like a good double quarter pounder with cheese, if it's fresh, can be amazing. But favorite chicken sandwich, got to go with Chick-fil-A spicy chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
For me, there's no competition. But yeah, I'd love to hear yours. Hope you are doing well, and we'll catch you again next time.
Thank you, Cameron. Always appreciate the voicemail, and it always comes back to food at the Heine House. You guys know this. All right, great question. Favorite fast food burger? I mean, that's kind of a tough question, but I will say, I love In-N-Out burgers, and I'm not saying that because everyone says that or whatever. Not everyone says that. I had somebody say that they're worse. They hate them or whatever. But I really like In-N-Out, but not everyone has access to that. That's kind of a West Coast, Southwest type thing here. So a little bit more mainstream, I guess I'll say. And you and both you gentlemen, you're going to have to answer this too. So you better be thinking. I'm going to say, I think Bydo might also agree with me on this one because we've talked about this. I think Wendy's has a fantastic burger. If we're talking fast food, they really do. In fact, we had Wendy's last week, and great story about this. Steph and I, this was last Saturday, actually a week from today. Last Saturday, we were out. We spent the day. We were hanging out, driving around. We said, let's go to Wendy's and just, have some food. I had a burger. She had a burger with some fries and stuff like that. I got some nuggets. I got the 4 for $4. Of course, you can't beat that. It was the best deal in town. And honestly, it was probably the best version that we have ever had at Wendy's. And again, Cameron, you said it, right? As long as it's made fresh and, you get a fresh batch of fries and nuggets are fresh, you can't beat that. It's really, really good. The food was so good. Steph goes, my God, we have to tell them. This is amazing. This is so good. I said, you know what? You're right. You're right. We went back through the drive-thru after we ate and just to tell them, hey, and this is what I said, hey, we just came through and we just ordered some of your food. I had the mobile order. We just want to tell you that it was amazing. The food was the freshest we've ever had. It was tasty. It was prepared wonderfully. The fries were perfect. Everything was just perfect. Thank you. It tastes great. great job. Y'all are amazing. And that's just what we said. And they're like, wow, okay, thank you. And we drove up to the window as we went by, like all the team members were at the window and they're like, thank you. Like, you know what I mean? That's how important it was to let them know, like, wow, like when you see it, when you recognize it, like you gotta give the compliments. You gotta let people know. Because like their job is fucking difficult to work there, of dealing with mean ass people all day long, being yelled at, my order's wrong, fuck you, and all this stuff. Like, dude, they deal with a bunch of shit. And to have just a little bit of hope that day, I hope that helped them. You know what I mean? So yeah, the long-winded answer for you, Cameron, I'm going to say really like number 2 from Wendy's. Oh, they're double fucking awesome. Their burgers are really, really good. I like those. I would probably choose that 9 times out of 10. Five Guys is good. We've had them too. Really, really like the Five Guys burger. I just don't like how expensive they are. I think I mentioned this before. Steph and I went like maybe a couple years ago. It was the last time we went, because we ordered like 2 burgers, fries, and a milkshake, and it was like $35 or something. And I'm like, wait, I was just like, what the fuck? I'm like looking at the receipt going, what the hell did we order? You know, $35. I mean, fuck, we might as well go to a sit-down restaurant. Although it was a very good burger, and I love their Cajun fries. You can't fuck with their Cajun fries. Those are so good. So yeah, I'm going to say Five Guys chicken sandwich. Yeah, man, you had it at Chick-fil-A, dude. They have some of the best chicken around. But also Raising Cane's. I know they're chicken fingers or whatever, but they put them in a bun and call it a chicken sandwich. That's kind of cheating, I guess, but I'm still going to say that. Raising Cane's, fucking amazing chicken. So let's go. I'm going to go with that for my answer. All right. Hopefully I long-winded that enough to give you guys some time to think about it. We're gonna start with you, Mr. FancyJustice. What is a good fast food burger that you like, and a fast food chicken sandwich that you like?
Okay, well, since I'm from Canada, I might have like a little bit less options than you guys. Because you mentioned a couple places there in your speech there, and I have no idea what those are, like Raising Cane's.
You're gonna have to just come down and visit me, and I'll take you around, and we'll have some fun. I'm serious.
Take you on a tour, put you in a food coma.
Yeah, it'd be fucking awesome. We play games, we could hang out, we can do music, we can eat fucking burgers. Yeah, I'm not kidding.
Once this global pandemic's over, I'll be right over for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with. This might be a little unconventional, but I like Dairy Queen's flamethrower grill burger. I don't know if you've had that before.
So DQs are a little different for us here in the States. Not every DQ actually serves food. Majority of them just serve ice cream. Yeah, because they're all franchised, right? So they're all owned individually by people, not by corporate. So they don't have to adhere to the actual like corporate requirements. They can do whatever they want. Most of them do just ice cream. And if they do food, typically it's like hot dogs and like chicken strips with Texas toast, and that's it.
Oh, really? So you haven't had any of their burgers before, have you?
I have a long time ago. There was a location where I grew up, but there's none around here that actually serve burgers. So I'm going to have to actually search that out.
So nobody might have any idea what I'm talking about unless you're from Canada, I guess.
No, this is great though, because this is really exciting because we're going to learn about the flamethrower. I've seen the commercials. I've seen them before.
Yeah, they were like sort of meme status, I guess. They looked kind of basically it's just, you know, like quarter-pound beef burger with whatever their fiery sauce and like pepper jack cheese and stuff like that. So it's, you know, in the commercials they make it out to be really spicy, but it's really not. Like, you know, most fast food, when they have like their habanero ghost pepper stuff, it's not even close to eating anything ghost pepper related. So that's, I'll choose that for my burger. Chicken burger, again, this might be like unconventional, but I'm going to say A&W.
Oh, yeah.
Chicken burger.
Yeah, fuck yeah. A&W is fucking hella good.
Because I heard that, I think in Canada, A&W is owned by a different company or something. They split off from the original company. Because what I've read online is people in the United States don't like A&W very much. Like they rate it very low when it comes to all the fast food tier, I guess you'd say. Is that really?
Fuck them.
Well,
we love it.
I like their chicken burger.
Yeah.
So I don't usually go for chicken burgers that much, but A&W, man, they make a good one.
Actually, you know what's interesting about your flamethrower burger, now that you're mentioning it, and you talked about the meme status, really interesting quick story here. When I was in college doing audio, one of my class projects was to do an entire sound design for a commercial, right? It was actually one of my finals in one of my classes. And they gave the whole class actually, the Dairy Queen flamethrower commercial. And it's where the dude is in the office and he's sitting there and he eats the burger and flames. They're like, hey, how is the food or whatever? And he's like, he wants to say like, it's fine, but flames shoot out of his mouth every time he talks and he screams, right? Am I on? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Every time he opens his mouth, the flames shoot out, and he can't say anything because he has to open his mouth to talk.
Yep, this is exactly that. In fact, was a final that I had to do, so I had to create sound design for the whole thing. I had to do the office sounds, the walking. I had to do the voices for all the people, and that was really, really cool. And I remember watching that, going, I've never had that burger. I wonder how good that is. I really wanted one after I did it because I was like, dude, that burger looks legit. So crazy. Yeah, I remember that commercial. All right, so I'm down with that. I feel that. That's pretty cool. I'm going to have to come up there and try one just for that.
Definitely. Do it.
I think it's limited, down the street.
Just show up. You don't have my address, do you?
We'll talk offline. No, I don't.
He's on a plane right now. He's gonna
I'm doing this remotely, remote podcast. All right, Bydo, what about you? What do you think, man?
So for me, I mean, chicken sandwich. I mean, I think Cameron got it straight on. It's Chick-fil-A spicy chicken sandwich. Like it's such a. I think got to Chick-fil-A's whatever the Red Club status on their app just through buying so many spicy chicken sandwiches, like legit out because there's one right next to where I work at, and I was probably there at one point 4 or 5 nights. Like the people started learning my name. I was like, here you go, sir. You see, you got spicy chicken sandwich again. I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'm coming here a little too often.
Like, oh, hello, it's Mr. BydoEmpire again. Oh, good to see you.
Yeah. And I would always get it with their Chick-fil-A sauce to dip it in. Just make it. It's like that is number one in my heart and arteries as well. But yeah, I always for chicken sandwiches. I know like Popeyes has come out with one. I think Wendy's, they've had one forever. And I think McDonald's wants to come out with one. But the thing with other chicken sandwiches that I've always been turned off on is when they add some kind of dressing to it. Because I always feel like they overdo it with that stuff. And
You're right.
Chick-fil-A is just, you get the big ass chicken breast in there, butter if you want it on, I love my buns toasted with butter. And then pickles, I believe, right? Is what it comes with?
Just pickle,
yeah, pickle. And it's like, it's basic. No.
Is that a sin or something?
I mean, people, don't get me wrong, I'm sure people put it on there, but I know Chick-fil-A is just basic and it's delicious and I love it. And yeah, that's number one.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And and then I will give a shout out to Popeyes, man. Their biscuits and their fries, Cajun fries or whatever spice seasoning, I haven't had in forever, but I used to be addicted to those things. And
Cajun fries from Popeyes?
Didn't they have them at one point? Cajun fries?
Sounds pretty good. I don't know. It's been a while since I've been.
Yeah, I haven't been to forever. I just remember loving their fries at Popeyes, their biscuits. They were legit number one. Like, I could eat like a box of those things. And then they actually had spicy chicken strips I used to get at Popeyes. Those are legit kind of spicy, spicier than most, and those were good. As far as burgers, man, I was thinking about it the whole time we were talking. I was like, I haven't had a burger in forever, and I'm just trying to remember which one. Like when I think burger in fast food, what came to mind? And the first one that came to my mind was Freddy's, their frozen steak burgers.
Oh yeah, Freddy's.
Like it's like different than most other fast foods, like that thin, fried, crispy Angus. We love that QT Angus burger. I almost wanted to say that.
Yeah. Rest in peace. Yeah.
Yeah, rest in peace. I don't think that counts as fast food, but yes, Freddy's frozen steak burger. The taste of it, like with the onions and like the crispiness of the because it's just like a really thin piece of meat.
Yeah, it's like smashed on there, and like tapered on the ends. It's almost crispy on the ends. It's different. Yeah.
Yeah, the taste is that's what came to mind. But I'm with you. Like Wendy's, when you have it, like they actually like it hasn't been sitting out forever, and like they just made it. Yeah, Wendy's, like their burgers were legit good. But yeah, my answer is gonna have to be Freddy's for burgers for me.
What's a frozen steak burger? Like they're advertising it as frozen.
That's their name of it. It's Freddy's frozen. What is it? Frozen custard and steak burgers?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, most places are like, oh, we don't use frozen beef. I thought it was weird that they were advertising that.
You order a burger, it comes out frozen.
Like, I was like, well, that's weird. Like, we just stuck it in the microwave 5 minutes ago.
Take it up in a microwave, you idiot.
Yeah, I was getting their name mixed up, but yeah, it's frozen custard and steak burgers.
Okay.
Yeah, we have one actually pretty close to us. So
yeah,
their hot dogs are good too.
Yeah. Expensive there, but
it is. Yeah. Well,
that's a good question.
Now it's time for lunch. Now it's time to eat. Yeah, great question, and thanks, Cameron, for always sending over a question. Appreciate that. If you have a question, what did we ask earlier? How about your memory with Daft Punk? We talked about that earlier. If you have a Daft Punk memory or even just a connection to a song or music, I would love to, if you'd like to share it, we'd love to hear it. 503-908-5490. Or you want to talk about food? Shit, go for it. That's what we do. We just talk about food. I appreciate that. I want to thank both gentlemen. Thank you for being here. Bydo, FancyJustice, always a pleasure. You too. Thanks for tuning in with me and hanging out.
Yeah, man, it's great to talk to you again.
It's been fun. Good to have a long conversation for once.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I try to keep them around an hour when it's by myself here, but when there's multiple, hey, fuck it. We're having fun. Talking about all kinds of great stuff. Before we say goodbye, of course, I just want to thank all of the patrons again right here. Thank you. All of the support given here. Y'all are amazing. tinyhouse.com is the website. And I think we'll end it on that. Thanks so much for being here. And I hope you all have a fantastic start to your week and a great week. And we'll see you on the next one. All right. Bye now.